Spiritual awakening destroys your whole life so that you can rebuild a new one. But the problem is, many of us who went through spiritual awakening end up feeling lost without a purpose. We find it challenging to reintegrate into society. We try to figure out what our purpose is, but we get nothing. So what do? In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can rebuild your life after spiritual awakening in two main areas: work and relationship. I'll be using examples in my life and sharing my personal experience of reintegrating after awakening. But first, let's understand why is it important to not focus so much on purpose and what we have to embrace instead. When you are using Google Maps, all you need is to enter where you want to go and where you are currently at, and it will tell you the best way to get to your destination. Unfortunately, spiritual awakening doesn't work this way. You don't have a specific destination like New York City, Times Square, on the steps of TKTS. Sometimes you are caught towards a broader, more generic destination. For example, you may receive the inspiration to go to New York, or the inspiration to go to the United States, or just the west side of the globe. And that's all you get. And you kind of have to figure out your way to the specific destination. A common challenge I see many face on their spiritual journey is finding a sense of purpose in their life. Many people want clarity on their purpose before taking action, but this grand, elusive purpose that we often seek simply doesn't exist. Our purpose keeps evolving and expanding. You don't need to wonder how long it takes to discover your purpose because it's eternal. It's never ending and it's always unfolding. Your purpose will keep expanding and redefining itself even after you pass on. One period of your life, you may be called towards New York City, and another period, you may be called towards Amsterdam's in the Netherlands. Once you have your purpose all figured out, it will evolve into another purpose. Like in my case, for 8 years, I've been called to write and I have published 7 books. But 2 years ago, this purpose has expanded into speaking. And here I am with this YouTube channel. Do I know what my purpose is? I don't know. I don't know what exactly in store for me. But right now, I just know that I need to create videos on this platform. This is what I feel inspired to do. It's like I don't know whether New York City is where I'm heading to, but at least I know that I have to be in the West or the United States. So I'm just going to go there first and figure it out later. Instead of finding your purpose, what you need to embrace is your journey. You will gather more information along the way when you head in the general direction your spirit is calling you to. When I first started this channel, I didn't know exactly what this channel would be about. I recorded a bunch of videos on mindfulness, MBTI, manifestation, and twin flames before I decided to focus more on empath and spiritual awakening. I'm just trying out different things and seeing what works based on the feedback I receive. And I'm still refining it right now. My intuition has given me the general direction. It's like it tells me to go to the United States, and now I have to figure out whether is it the East Coast or the West Coast. And to figure this out, I have to take action. I have to create videos on multiple topics and see which topic resonates with others. It's like I have to go to East Coast first and check if the vibe resonates with me, and do the same with the West Coast. Your purpose will only get clearer when you start taking action and receiving feedback. You need to embrace the journey even when you take the wrong turn, because your purpose doesn't define your journey. It's your journey that refines your purpose. The thing is, the universe will not give us the full picture. It will not provide us with all the information because our ego will get too attached to this specific purpose. Or if the purpose is too big or too grand, we may feel overwhelmed and don't believe that we can do it. So you are mostly given the next step to take. It's only by taking the next step that you will gain further insight into the additional action you need to pursue. And this can go both ways. Either the path you take resonates with you and you continue on, or the path doesn't resonate with you and you can eliminate this path and try something else. Both outcomes will help you to refine your purpose so you can never fail. So, how do you rebuild your career after spiritual awakening? For many of us, the old 9 to 5 work model doesn't work for us anymore. We want more freedom in our time and our work. So many of us become life coaches, healers, or spiritual teachers. But I also don't want you to disregard 9 to 5 completely and limit yourself to only a few options. Because sometimes the work that is truly aligned with you and your values requires you to work 9 to 5. Maybe you're called to work for a charity that helps disabled people, or maybe you're a social worker or therapist working for an organization and they require you to work certain hours. It's not so much about the time, right? It's more about whether what you do align with your values. Like in my case, I work during the weekends too. I probably work more right now than what I used to work as an accountant. But when I work, it doesn't feel like work at all. 1 hour of planning a YouTube video is different from 1 hour of accounting. And for me, I value freedom more than stability. I would rather do more hours and have the flexibility to create and change my own schedule than sticking to a fixed schedule. I also love working at home and working online. I'm like a digital nomad, less the word nomad, because I don't travel around the world that much. I could based on what I do, but I don't because I don't like to shift my environment that much. But this is what I desire. What do you desire? What do you value? Your desire and value is going to provide you the general direction of where you're heading next. So you have to ask yourself, who do you want to help? What kind of environment do you want to work in? What values do you support? What industry align with your values? And just listen to your intuition. Your intuition might be urging you to relocate to a different country or city. While this path isn't for me, it could very well be your calling. Maybe you want to spend more time working with people and not like me working in front of a computer. Do what you are inspired to do. And if you have no idea what your next step is, just try any job and refine your direction along the way. Focus on anything that pays the bill for now. And remember, if you don't like it, you can always quit and move to another job. The biggest thing you have to remember though is not to spend any time judging things or companies that are not aligned with your values. This will only get you stuck in the matrix and low vibration. This misalignment serves as a signpost to help you clarify your direction. They are there to tell you that you're heading in the wrong direction. That's all. Imagine you're on the road and you realize you're going the wrong way. You just quickly pivot and move another direction, right? You don't dwell too much about it. You don't say something like, this is the wrong way. I'm going to correct and change the path so that you will lead me to the right way. No, you just go the other way that leads you to the right path, the right direction. You don't spend any more time on the wrong path trying to change it. If you find yourself in a company whose practices clashes with your values, you have other options. You can seek employment at other organizations that aligns more closely with your principles. Or you might even consider starting your own business within the same industry. To rebuild your work life, you might want to look at other people who have successfully done so. Someone who has experienced isolation, been away from society, and still managed to reintegrate into society. And who are these people? The monks. Take J. Shetty, the author of Think Like a Monk, for example. He was a Hindu monk for 3 years before leaving the monastery and returning to London. Upon his return, he faced this challenge of bridging spirituality with the physical world. You can read his books and his journey to see how he navigated this transition. And he's not the only monk that did this. There are many others which you can find out more about their journey. But what I find is that the spiritual people who are the most successful, or rather the ones that has the most impact, are those who are able to bridge the 5D with the 3D. They are not against the 3D at all. They embrace both the physical and the spiritual. A lot of spiritual people were called to do coaching, But we also have to learn how to bridge the 3D with the 5D because the problem is in the 3D and the solution is in the 5D. If you want to help those people with the problems, you have to first speak their language. You want to maintain your 5D vibration, but at the same time, you want to be able to relate to those who are having 3D problems. This is what marketing is all about, right? You want to communicate in a way that addresses the market's problem and needs. When you return to society, you may realize there is a lot of 3D stuff to learn. You need to learn how to embrace this, as this is a natural part of your growth and evolution. When I was called to start this YouTube channel, I had to learn all this 3D stuff about business, marketing, communication, script writing. These are all the things I used to be interested in before I was spiritually awakened. Now it's like a full circle. I have to pick up these business skills again. But this time around is different. I hired an English tutor to help me with my pronunciation and sign up for a communication course. I develop myself not because I'm trying to fix a part of me, like a part of me that isn't good enough and I need to fix it so that I can be a better spiritual teacher or better content creator. Instead, this is all part of expansion. It's more like in the past, I have this fear of public speaking. I have all this limiting belief like I'm bad at communicating, I can't speak well. But after spiritual awakening, this old belief and limitation just slowly chip away. And what's left is my authentic self. What's left is a natural desire to expand to my full potential. You will naturally have a huge interest to learn and be the best version of yourself as you grow in your spiritual journey. And sometimes spiritual people may resist this, thinking that we are perfect as we are, like we don't need to fix ourselves or improve ourselves. But you're not fixing yourself. You're becoming the most authentic version of yourself. The self that is no longer held down by all this negative narrative and belief of your ego. The key to reintegrating into society is you must accept the physical aspect of life with open arms. You cannot judge the physical tasks you have to do, seeing them like a chore. Like you need to find a balance between doing and being. And most importantly, you need to find the joy in doing the task. Since I was called to start this YouTube channel, I want to do it wholeheartedly. I don't want to do it half-heartedly like a parent telling me to do something and I have no choice but to eat the vegetables. This is like a co-creation. The universe gave me the inspiration and I feel that it's a good idea too. And that's why I'm doing this. No one forces me to do this. It's not like the universe telling me that you have to do this, otherwise you're going to get it from me. Or because someone in power told me to do it. I always have a choice. I had this inspiration to start a YouTube channel almost a decade ago. But at the time, I wasn't ready. I was like very fearful. I was trapped in my ego perspective. So I chose not to start the channel. But the universe doesn't stop knocking at my door. It doesn't give up on me. It keeps reminding me of this idea I had. And it's not like the universe is nagging me to start a YouTube channel. It's actually calling me to my purpose, my full potential. And now that I'm more aligned with my spiritual self, I find it much easier to get into flow and get this channel going. If you just look at it from an egoic perspective, it doesn't make sense at all. Recording video takes a lot of time and it doesn't make me any money. So why do I have to do this? Why do I have to keep doing this for 2 years? Well, because to me it's fun. I enjoy doing this. It's the joy that matters. Whatever you do, you need to enjoy the process. This will keep you in alignment with your spirit. Are there days where I don't feel like recording videos? Definitely yes. And on those days, I just don't create any YouTube videos. I just do other things like I will take a break. The point I'm telling you all this is you want to use joy as the main indicator to help you refine your direction. Not just to understand what your purpose is, but also use it moment to moment to understand what your next step is. So what about relationship? How do you rebuild your social life after spiritual awakening? During the isolation stage of spiritual awakening, you may find that most of your friends, if not all of them, went away. When you are coming out of the isolation stage and you are reintegrating into the society, friendship and romantic relationship takes a whole new meaning. Before spiritual awakening, you may have certain expectation of what your friends or lovers should do. They are supposed to validate you, support you when you're down, do things together, or they are someone who shares the same interests as you and spend most of their time with you. But what I find is that with integration, these expectations starts to drop away. You no longer seek love and validation outside of you because you're connected with the love within you. Their friends and lovers takes on a whole new meaning. They are not here to provide you with love. They are here to remind you of the times when you're not loving, when you're disconnected from love. If I have a negative judgment of people, which I do sometimes, I know it's coming from my ego. My ego is judging another person's ego. And I know that when I have this judgment and this narrative in my head, it cuts off the connection with the love within, with my spiritual self. I'm not telling you to repress your ego, but I just want you to take notice of this. When your ego does this, have this awareness that what you're seeing and evaluating is the other person's ego, not their true spiritual self. Whether the other person is spiritually awakened or connected with their spiritual self, that's beside the point. There is a more authentic version of them beyond the egoic front that they're presenting, which we are not interacting with. We are interacting with their ego. This understanding and awareness will make interacting with others so much easier. You'll become more friendly to everyone, regardless if they are a stranger or an acquaintance. Of course, there will definitely be some personalities that you find easier to connect with than others. After spiritual awakening, I find myself more drawn to people who have a higher vibration than people who have low vibration. It's not so much about the person, but more about the vibration. What kind of vibration I want to interact with, what kind of vibration I resonate with. It's also not about how much they know about spirituality or whether I can have a deep conversation with them or not. It's still fun to listen and share story of synchronicity and spiritual experiences with other spiritual people. But this desire to have deep conversation with others and feel understood by them used to be very important in the past. But now after spiritual awakening, it's not as important. And if you reintegrate into society with this type of mindset, you'll find it easier to interact with everyone and not just the spiritual people. Whoever comes into your life and your journey, you just play along with them. Whether is it the person from the grocery store or people waiting in line with you, you interact with them on whether their vibration matches yours, not based on your history with them or how much they know about spirituality. The universe will naturally bring people to you that matches your vibration. And if you keep a high vibration, there is no lack of others who share the same high vibe as you. But the main thing is you cannot try so hard, especially when it comes to finding your lover. The universe will bring your soul family, soulmate, or twin flame to you is a guarantee, and you will feel drawn to them. But what I learned about soul relationship is you don't get to control the timing. Everything in life has divine timing, especially when it comes to relationship. When we get impatient and desperate, we don't connect with our soulmates. We connect with people who matches our impatience. If you feel lonely, you'll get into an unbalanced relationship that makes you feel lonelier. So you have to learn to relax and just chill. What you can do though is to focus on yourself and keep your vibration high. Because if your soulmate is here with a high vibration, but you're here with a low vibration, you will never meet each other, even if both of you have a soul contract with each other. And even if both of you meet each other, you may not recognize this energetic connection. And if both of you have a low vibration when you meet each other, even if you get into a relationship, this relationship could end eventually when one partner start to raise its vibration and grow, while the other partner remains stagnant. Your vibration is king. It triumphs everything, including your relationship. So don't ever sacrifice your vibration so that you can be in a relationship with someone else. It's just not worth it. Instead, allow the other person to grow and match your vibration. When it comes to rebuilding your life after spiritual awakening, the key is not to be too attached to any relationship. When you're too fixated on finding your soulmate and twin flame, you're coming from a very strong egoic perspective, and it will cause a lot of pain and suffering. Even though you may have a soul contract with someone, it doesn't mean that they will stay with you in your life forever. Some will stay a longer time in your life, for example, your family. Some will only stay a short time in your life. Once they help you learn something or serve their purpose, the soul contract ends and they will leave. And it's not always conscious to them. They just felt put to another direction. Their soul knows what happens, but their mind may not know why they have to leave or go another place. So don't see friendship and love relationship as eternal like marriage vow, till death do us part. This 5D connection is eternal, but the 3D connection is impermanent. Like in my case, my twin flame and I are on totally different paths now. We are living in different cities. We don't talk to each other anymore. I still feel a strong energetic connection with him, but I also intuitively know that he doesn't just have a soul contract with me. He has soul contract with multiple people. He's constantly getting in and out of relationships, and that's what he has to experience. For me, I have to experience what I have to experience, which is a life of independence and solitude. We are on separate paths now, and if it's time for us to come together and do something bigger like a shared mission, we will at divine timing. This cannot be rushed. The more you think about it, like when it will happen, the more impatient you get. You don't know what soul contract your soulmate or twin flame has with other people. So it's best to put aside the relationship and allow it to occur organically rather than just to force it. And you need to understand that some people's journey this lifetime is full of company, while others are meant to experience solitude. You cannot compare your journey with other people. Everyone has a different journey. And it doesn't always come in pairs. It can come in threes, fours, and or fives. Recently, a friend shared her story with me about the three of them. And it's amazing to listen to how many synchronicity there were that brought them together. But in my case, the deeper I go into my spiritual journey, the more I realize that my journey is about being one. And knowing this actually makes me feel more at peace and free. Because I used to get so heartbroken as a kid. Like, why am I always single and alone? Why don't I have friends? Like, why does no one like me? And people will tell me that I have to do this and do that to get into a relationship. When I finally stopped trying so hard and know there's nothing wrong with me, it's just the journey that my soul has chosen to live this lifetime, I feel this freedom to just be alone and single. Even with my twin flame, right? It's also singular and one. Because twin flame is essentially one soul having two separate experiences. It's like you get to double the amount of experiences in one lifetime. It's not two souls coming together, but it's one soul reuniting. So it's singular. Life after spiritual awakening is basically still the same. You still have to pay the bills, you still have to eat, and still have to go to the restroom. But reintegration is not about going back to your old ways. Reintegration is about doing the same thing with a different vibration, with a different approach, with a different perception, the spiritual perception. If isolation stage is all about solidifying your connection with spirit, integration stage is about serving a greater good, connecting with the collective spirit. And we often experience the integration stage after the isolation stage. If you wonder if it's time for you to leave the isolation stage, watch this next video for the signs.